All right, sorry, Tyler, keep going.
Yeah, no problem. Because of my technology background, I kind of quickly pushed our chapter here in Rochester, Minnesota to start selling tickets online and doing kind of things that just help promote our ticket sales faster through email and different things like that. So while doing that with the chapter, I thought, oh, how great would it be to take some of the lessons that we learned about selling tickets, such as collecting information from the person selling tickets or other kind of features, and maybe build it so it could be more generally used by just any chapter in Pheasants Forever. So that's kind of how Reggie Tick's idea kind of got started. And then about a year and a half ago, I approached Pheasants Forever National with the Reggie Tick's idea to see if we couldn't incorporate it more into the way we present events and offer it as a free kind of service to chapters around the country. So that's just a little bit of the background of it. Right now, first of all, can everyone hear me okay on the phone?
Yep. Coming through great. We bet.
Yeah, very fun.
Yep. All right, great. If I end up going too fast or if I go too slow for you, just go ahead and speak up, let me know. Right now what I have on the screen is the new events page for Pheasants Forever. The URL for it is www.pheasantsforeverevents.org. When you go there, it will automatically request to use your location to do the first search. And if I kind of expand the map out here, you can see there's some events that are still yet to be done. I mean, we're kind of almost out of banquet season here. But you can kind of see a nice overlay of the event. If I want to get some more details about an event that was close to me, I could go ahead and just click on it on the map and say open event, and that's going to take me to the event page. So a key point to this that Brian kind of brought up earlier is this is not only just to sell tickets online, it's also just kind of a replacement to what used to be the event page on the Pheasants Forever website. This is a little bit easier for submitting events, and I can walk through that process as well. But you can submit an event and not enable tickets being sold online, or you can submit it to sell tickets online. So I just wanted to make sure that that point comes across. So let's go ahead and go back and show how easy it is to submit a ticket or submit an event to Brian to post on the website. So now here on the bottom here we have a link that says click here to submit your event today. The chapter representative can click in there. It's going to give them some information about the different ways they can submit an event. Maybe they really don't like using the internet. It gives them an alternative way to submit. It also has a link to our user guide in case they really want to kind of read up and see different things. But the key thing here is there's just a hyperlink here for them to go ahead and submit an event. When they do this, they just have to select their chapter, so I'll just select Tri-County. I know my golf tournament's coming up, so I'll just say, Tri-County golf tourney. I could pick a start date, a start time if I want, so 2 p.m. And I can pick an end date in case it was like a conference or something like that. Here I can enter a description, something like have fun with buddies, great tourney, anything I want. If you really have somebody who likes to design things, they can change the font, make it look pretty, all those sorts of things. Here I can enter in the location, so I could say Willow Creek Golf Course. I'll look up the address here so we can, so 1700 Rochester, Minnesota, 55902. And here we just ask for a person's email address. So I'll just put our chapter email address. That's just so in case Brian has to contact to say, hey, I have a question about your event, or hey, it looks like you misspelled something, or anything like that. It gives him a nice contact. They can also enter their name and phone if they want. So at this point, I can submit this event. It would go through. Brian would review it. I think we tell chapters, 48 hours or so to expect.
Yeah. I mean, once someone submits an event, it's going to be, granted, if it's over the weekend, it'll be that Monday morning. But if it's submitted during a weekday, probably 24 hours in advance. Just to kind of go over this screen right here, I know all of you guys have been, pretty good about getting me, your banquets and chapter information so I can get them on the website. This is kind of the same type of thing. Basically what we want is a date, a start time, a contact name for questions regarding tickets, and either a phone number or email address. If you're trying to sell tickets to those events, an email address is necessary because, as we'll show you in a minute here, that person who's set up as the chapter contact will be set up as a user for that event. So they'll receive an automatic email that will prompt them to log into the dashboard, and then they can get in and see, the roster of ticket sales and, links to promote the event on their Facebook page or website. So, basic pieces of information, location, contact name, phone number, zip code also, because we're using a Google Maps locator. That really, the zip code is is very important, not necessarily, if you have a street address for that event, if your chapter does great, but, there's certain pieces of information that are kind of necessary in order to make everything flow. So, with that, Tyler, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right, sounds good. So at this point, I could submit it. I don't want to sell tickets online. Now, if I do want to sell tickets online, all I have to do is drop down to say select tickets online, and I just have to enter in some pieces of information like a foursome is $280. Mulligans are $5. That way, it gives Brian the information he needs to know to go ahead and set up the ticketing aspect of the event for that. So pretty simple, pretty basic. Not a whole lot going on here. Any questions?
One interjection quick for the online tickets. Something that definitely want to know. If you're entering in, your different banquet tickets, your different levels, try and include obviously what's included with that banquet ticket, whether you've got a gold level sponsor, a silver level sponsor, and that includes 4 associate memberships and $100 in raffle tickets, so when I set up the tickets, I can provide as much information for each individual ticket as possible. Pretty straightforward.
Hey, Brian, this is Charlie. Sorry if you're going to cover this later, and just tell me if you are.
No, of course.
How do we, or chapters I know are going to want to know when, say, somebody buys tickets online, how does that money get deposited into their CMS account, and how soon?
The accounting department here makes the poll every 2 weeks, so bi-monthly, and it'll be deposited directly into their CMS account.
Okay, and will the chapter easily be able to get like some type of report leading up to the event of how many tickets are sold and the total dollar volume that they should be expecting to be deposited?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep, and we'll go into that in further detail here in a few minutes.
Okay.
Any other questions at this time?
Brian, this is Jerry. So in that descriptive there, so if they're saying, you know, dinner and a meal is $50, it's or a $250 sponsor or spouse,
Yep.
you want all of that in there just like it says on the tickets. Is that correct?
Nope, exactly. Everything that you know, on your, you have a chapter flyer and it lists all your different individual tickets. Just put all of that information right in there, and then I can go in and set up each individual ticket and the dollar amount, what each ticket, what comes with each ticket, and turn on the event, and within 5 minutes that event is live and ticket sales are also live.
Cool. Thanks.
Yep.
Hey, Brian, I'll throw one in just while we're kind of asking some here, and it took me a couple minutes to get on, so you might have said this, but for reps, are you wanting this to become the way we send you the information for banquets? Like more than just the quasi-emails here or there? Do you prefer they come in this way?
Well, I mean, it's up to you. If you guys have, I know a lot of you guys, if not all of you, tell me if I'm wrong, probably keep track of this in your own Excel spreadsheet, right?
Yep.
So if you want to just attach that spreadsheet in an email and send it over to me, I can go in and enter these events. Rather than, if you're going to actually pull up an email and type in that information, it's up to you. If you wanted to send me an email, that's great. If you wanted to go to this site and just enter in the information and hit submit, I'll be notified the same. So
okay.
I guess
so it really doesn't matter to you.
For you. What?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got a list, it doesn't make sense for you guys to go in, and into this page and submit each event. Just send me a spreadsheet with, make sure that all of this information is in that spreadsheet. Send it to me, and those events will be created. Granted, if I get a list of 30 banquets, they might not all be up on the website within 24 hours. But I try and get individual banquets, they're up right away. If I get a long list, just based on time I have, it sometimes might be a day or two. So as long as you're aware that, if I get a huge spreadsheet, it might take me a little while to get every single event created and up online. Tyler, take it away.
All right, sounds good. So that's the submission process. At that point, let's just go ahead and jump over to an event that was enabled for ticket sales. Right now I'm in a test system, so if the URL looks funny, that's just so we can kind of play with it and test with entering in orders and things. So what I have pulled up here on the screen is my chapter's banquet that was held back in March. We used the ticketing feature. So now you can see the event page looks a little bit different when there's tickets involved. What I could do is I could bring up another event here. So a basic event just has the description and the when, where. If you're enabled for ticketing, you're going to have this new cart kind of feature added to it. So now you're going to see all the ticket options. Like Brian said, banquet ticket includes all these things and different things like that. So at this point, let's role play that I'm a person who wants to attend this banquet. I can go ahead and add a banquet ticket to my cart. And here's the really nice thing. Let's say I'm going to add 2 banquet tickets. Is when I go to checkout here, it's going to ask me some basic information. But then these are what we call custom information fields. Each ticket type can have information fields attached to it. The purpose for that is to obtain information that we need to process a membership. So for membership, we need to know their name and their address, right? So because I'm ordering 2 banquet tickets that include a membership, the software is asking for that information. So I can go ahead and enter it. And then I also have to enter it for the other one, right? So that's kind of a nice feature that you can ask for other information. If it's like a sponsorship, you could ask for company name and whatever you need. So any kind of thing that you typically collect for a ticket, you can ask. At that point, I'm ready to go ahead and pay for it. It's going to take me to a payment screen. Right now, we run our payments through PayPal. This could be changing later. We could be moving to a different feature. Let me just grab a test credit card number. I can just simply enter in my credit card. Say pay now. And then this payment will be processed. And I'll be sent to a receipt screen. Now, at that point, the person who ordered the ticket will receive a receipt. So you notice I put my email address in when I was ordering. So now I get a nice receipt that says, your ticket, it's been processed, here's your order number, with all the information. Also, the person who was listed as the email contact for the event will receive an email that says a new order has been processed for their event. So this email actually went to my Tri-County email and notified Tri-County of a new order. So depending on how I'm managing my orders, I could just get the email, add it to my spreadsheet or add it to my roster sheet, and I'll stay up to date on how many tickets I've sold. Okay? Any questions about that? No questions?
Can that generate? Can you generate a whole spreadsheet of everybody, or do you just have to individually write them down into your own spreadsheet as they come up?
Okay, so I'm glad you asked that because that's exactly where I was going next. So what I showed you there was the most minimum way you could interact with the system, right? If you're just not a technology person and you just want to be able to say what's the easiest way for me to know my orders, it would be collected by email and record it, right? Now, if you want to, you can log into the event page with your username, and this is what Brian was saying, that when you sign up, he sets you up with an account and sends you an email and tells you how to get a password. So if I log in as the Tri-County user on the system, I'm going to see my banquet on here, right? And in the banquet page, I can go ahead and say I want to manage this. This is going to bring me a lot of different reports. Right away, I get an event sales breakdown. It's going to show me my roster count. I'm going to see I sold 59 banquet tickets. I sold 84 PF Buck packages. I've sold 15 ring neck banquet tickets, and I've sold 19 spouse tickets. So from a very close example, I can kind of see my dollar amount for what I've sold, what should be in my CMS account after the credit card fees are taken out. At this point, I can go ahead and click on a list, and I can actually get down to the details that I want to see, right? So you see, this is that order I just created. I have the Tyler Even attendee. I have his address right away. At this point, I can go ahead and export this or copy and paste this into a spreadsheet if I wanted to. Another nice feature with the online management is if I go to view orders here, I have the option to add an order. So let's say my buddy Bob had his checkbook one day, wrote me a check for $30. I filled out the ticket, gave it to him, but I wanted to have just one list. I didn't want to work off the spreadsheet. I just wanted to work off online. I can go ahead and add those manual orders as well on here. So I know that Bob Johnson ordered a ticket from me. His address is 555 St. Paul. His wife's name is Julie. I can go ahead and check that out, and then when I go to my breakout, you'll see now my count has changed, right? My dollar amount for the whole event has changed. My spouse ticket count changed. If I go ahead and look in a list here, I see Julie Johnson now in my roster. So I could manage the whole roster on here. Now, the advantage of doing that is we have a check-in feature that I could use at the banquet if I wanted to say, someone walks in the door and they say they're Johnson, I can look up Bob Johnson's order and see that he had a spouse ticket and a banquet ticket, and I can first of all, I could mark that I sent him his tickets if we're mailing tickets ahead of time, or I could fulfill the order, which would mean, everything's taken care of, he showed up, he's there. So it's kind of a nice way to close out kind of your workflow. What our ticket manager did for our banquet was every time he sent the tickets out, because we mail the tickets still, he would just mark them as sent, so he could kind of remind himself which ones he sent out and which ones he hasn't. So that was kind of a nice thing. You can also run the report for the whole event. It takes a little while, but then you can print it off in a nice printed format, so you could have your roster at the banquet in case you need to check anything. Somebody forgot their tickets, you could remember that Shannon Peters had 4 PF bucks and different things. So this is also where most of our updates and most of our feedback and everything, this is going to be the most changing kind of, this is where we want to add the value to our chapters. So, there will be more coming. One thing in particular that we're looking into is if we can talk to Omer or not, and maybe possibly, automate some of that data entry into Omer or not. So, there's lots of things we can do once things are electronically saved. So, any questions about kind of tickets or management of the ticket sales or anything I showed?
Brian, this is Charlie. Will we be able to see all the chapters in our region when we log in?
So if you were to log in?
Yeah. Can I manage all the chapters in my region?
Yep. So what I would do is I'd set you up as a managed user for every single one of your chapters for the events that I've created, and then you'll be able to use your login information to, you'll log in, and Tyler, if you could go back to that, this screen right here. So actually, why don't you? So I'll set you up as a user, and then if you could, Tyler, go back and log out and then log back in.
You want me to log out and log back in?
Correct.
Okay.
So Charlie, if you say you're going in and you want to check and see, over the past 3 weeks, how many tickets have been sold for, one of your chapters. You go to this login page, you enter in your username and your password, and once you hit log in, See, now these are the events that Tyler has access to. So your list would be, you know, they would go all the way down the page as to every single one of your chapters that has a posted event. It would be, you know, it would label by chapter. It would have the chapter number, chapter name, and then see versus now.
What I'll do is I'll add Tri-County to have authority over the national. So now if I log in as the Tri-County email address, you see how now I can see both the Tri-County chapter and I can see the national chapter. So what he would do for you regional reps, if you wanted to, he could just add you as a chapter user so that you would have access to them.
Yeah, and then you'd be able to access any of your chapter's banquet rosters and be able to see all the event details that, you know, we've shown you.
Yeah, I mean, I'd want it more, and I'm guessing the other guys would too, just so we could help chapters do it, or do it for them.
Yep, of course. And, we're obviously going to need, that's why we wanted to get you guys in on this call, was to, kind of walk you through the system and explain kind of all the different features that it has, but also, find out from you what drawbacks or pitfalls, where you're going to see hang-ups with your chapters. If this just isn't going to work, how can we work to get around that? What tweaks can we make to the system, or is there a different resource that we can provide that will help, better explain the different functionality, or if we can give, a 4-step process that will walk a person exactly, right through the whole process of entering, submitting their event and managing it. Just what types of efforts and resources we can make available to you and your chapters to make things easier to use, to make this service more efficient, and to get more and more of your chapters on board and using the system.
Well, I agree. Nice.
Just the last thing to show you guys on the management screen is the event disbursements is where you can see the activity to your CMS account. So when the controllers go out there and actually create the journal entry to move the money from the national CMS into the specific chapters, it will create the disbursement log. And so, on February 25th, I would have saw that they made a disbursement of $638, so I could go tie that out by looking at my account. If I wanted to see all the orders that covered, I could just look at the detail and I could see which ones were covered or not. So I just wanted to show that because somebody asked that. So.
Could you go into the promote events page quick too? So if any of your chapters have a website or a Facebook page, we've got, the event URL, so right there, the PFES, Regitix, that will be, that URL. So if you were to copy that, highlight it in, to your search bar, it'll bring you right to that event page. So you can do something as easy as, if you wanted to send out an email newsletter or an email notification to a list of people, you could include that URL, you could drop it in, or you can go back to that promote page and there's code to have that order on, see that code right there. If you copy and paste that onto your Facebook page or into your website, it'll give you the click here to order online. It'll give you that icon and it'll go live and it'll bring you right to that URL. So it's just different ways that you can promote your event by directing people directly to that event page where they can order tickets or find more information or whatever.
And I don't know if I have it active. Oh, I do still have it active. Okay. So, yep. So here we just were able to copy and paste that code into our website and have that nice icon, and that would take people straight to our event.
So, Tyler, I think that should be it in terms of what we wanted to cover regarding the system in terms of its functionality and kind of walking through. Do you guys have any, would you like to see anything further, or do you have certain questions? Do you want us to revisit anything and explain things in further detail?
Hey, Tyler, it's Jerry. I got a question. It says your chapter name, but no number on it. And aren't there some similar chapters with similar names? Would there ever be any confusion on that? Whether it be depositing money into CMS or ordering tickets?
Everything is run by number. Just that screen might not have it. But,
okay.
I backed off here. Yeah, everything should tie back to a number for Alan and the controller. So, but that's a good question. Every screen might not have the number on it, so here I probably don't have the number. And that's something that we could look to make sure we add at more screens. But.
Tyler, could you add? Could you add, if you were to go into your Tri-County event, could you add me or add yourself as a managed user and show them the email that you'll receive after you add a managed user? You prompt to that email, and it'll send you a URL that will directly bring you to the login screen.
Yeah, the email's the same as the reset password, so I'll just reset Tri-County. How about that?
Perfect.
So the subject's a little different. It says, Pheasants Forever new user when you receive it. So the contents are all the same. It's going to give you your temporary password, so when you set up a new person, you get a temporary password. It'll just ask you to click on the login screen, enter in your temporary password with your user, and then there it's going to prompt you to change the password. Once you've done that, then you're in.
So that's all I would do is for each one of your chapter events that I create, I set you up as a managed user. You get that email confirmation, and it's that easy to get in, change your password. Now you're good to go. You have your login information, and you can access any of your chapters information right through that login.
Hey Brian, this is Charlie. I just have one other question, and
Yep.
it may just open up a can of worms and be something that we would never be interested in. But it seems like inevitably when doing stuff, especially online with credit cards, there's people that just would rather pay at the door. Is there a way for people to reserve a ticket online but not pay for it till they get there?
Tyler, I believe that's possible.
Oh well, anything's possible.
You just have to go in. Oh.
It's not set up for that right now. If we had enough weight behind something like that, we could look into it. It would just kind of change up kind of the whole ticketing process. We kind of have to.
Yeah, and it's kind of a can of worms. Once you start doing that, people don't show if they don't pay for it. So I was just curious if it was a function.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the main reasons why we have all the other information on an event. I mean, we had plenty of times that. Let me just get back to our event. We had a couple times, because I don't know if you noticed, there is a convenience fee. That is how Pheasants Forever National and how my company basically pay for all the work and all the work Brian does and the controller transferring money around. I mean, that's kind of where the support for this goes. We had a couple people for our banquet that didn't want to pay the $4 convenience fee, but that's what the contact information there is for. So they just emailed John and reserved the tickets, right? So.
And then John can go in to his roster and he can add those individuals, so he can have his full banquet roster, and then, once, when it comes time to check in at the door, he can look up and see that they haven't paid. He can take their, the money for their tickets, and he can mark them as paid.
Right. But,
any other questions?
And I could have started this out. I mean, it's a very valuable question. It's actually interesting. Brian, were you in the first couple meetings that we had up at Pheasants Forever National when we were pitching this idea to them, or?
I'm not sure. I don't believe I was.
I'm wondering if I was actually surprised by some statistics when I first started researching some of the stuff to get a little bit of weight behind online ordering. It's actually surprising the age groups that do the most online ordering. Let me just find it. But there's some statistics there. It's actually the ages of like 31 to 65 order more than ages 18 to 30 online. And that kind of comes down to they're more accustomed to online bill pay. They're more accustomed to that kind of thing. And also they have more money, so sometimes the stats can be a little weighted by that. But I was actually surprised to see some of the research that it's not as surprising to see some of the older age groups be comfortable with ordering something online. And that's one reason why we do like having the PayPal connection, which is a very big name out there for online ordering, and it should make people feel fairly comfortable. Pheasants Forever is not storing anybody's credit card. It's PayPal processing it. So, that's why I would hate to kind of design the system to kind of be a will call kind of system, just because for most people are going towards wanting to order things online. And being a chapter guy, the less roll call we have and the more people who are prepaid, like you said, then they're showing up, you have the money in hand, it's just less to do the day of the banquet.
Sounds good. I like it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, do we have any more questions?
Yeah, hey, this is Mark again. I'm going to throw one out that was probably covered in that first 3 or 4 minutes while I was battling the computer here.
Shoot.
The way that our chapters would deliver, and maybe this comes entirely from you, Brian, when you send out those event notifications. So I'm guessing it's that simple, but just so I know I plan on this being part of my district meetings this year, is trying to get the chapters involved in this and as many of them using as I can. So the way I want them to, for their members who are coming to their banquet to find out they have the option to do this stuff online, to buy their tickets, look at all does that come to them in that email that you send out once we give you all the information that, 2, 3, 4 weeks out, you send that thing out to all the members for that banquet? Or what's the mechanism that a chapter gets everybody involved in using this system?
Exactly. So the banquet email invites that I'm sending out right now, when I have an event, I've got a chapter event that's been created. The tickets are up. It's a live event, right?
Yep. If they've done the stuff we've just looked at, or we've done it for them, whatever, it's a live event, if you will. I'm with you.
Yep, that's a live event. I plug that URL right into the banquet invite, send it out, and anybody who receives that banquet invite, all they need to do is click on that icon or that graphic, and it brings them right to the event page, and they can check out.
Perfect.
Right here.
Okay.
Okay.
And from like our Tri-County point of view, we also make sure we add it on the flyer that we mail out, right? So, from a chapter.
So that URL that's created then, I'm just thinking here, I mean, the chapters who have their own newsletters, let's say, or that have their own Facebook page or anything like that, they can punch that URL into anything they do and people can get to that same one.
Exactly.
Yep.
It'll bring you, by typing in that URL, it'll bring you right to that event page. It'll show you tickets. All you have to do is click, okay, I want 2 of these, 1 of these, check out, enter in your information, and you're good to go.
Perfect.
Hey, Brian, this is Charlie. I had one other thing, kind of going back to what Mark just said. Can you come up with a one-page kind of hit list on this that have included in the Orange Bible that we'll pass out at our district meetings?
Yeah, I could do that.
I think that would be really. Whenever they're find out from merchandise when they're going to be mailing the new orange binders to us.
Okay.
It might be too late, but it would definitely be, or even just email it to us and then we can print them out.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If you miss that because that's too close, which I don't think any of us have any idea right now. We've all been kind of told end of June, but I can see it dragging into July. But if you get in a time crunch there, if it's something that you do have kind of a cheat sheet or something, or if you can grab one of those big oranges and look at how Homer or some of the other things that we're trying to get the chapters to be a little more self-sufficient on, something like that, a little kind of step-by-step tutorial that just kind of has some page images on it or whatever they'll see, nothing big, don't spend a tremendous amount of time on it, but anything like that will help drive these things because we can train them and we can do it at district meetings and we can talk to them about it on the phone. But with the implementation of the Big Orange there last year, that's what, especially those banquet coordinators, I think in most cases are the ones that have those sitting on their desk. So if this is something new that we're going to push at district meetings, having a couple page tutorial in there for them to kind of follow along when they go to do it that first time is really going to be beneficial. So, and if we can help you do that or whatever, just holler.
Yep. Tyler, could you show them the event help page? We do have a user guide. Now it's not quite a one-sheeter, so if you think that that'll be more effective, I can certainly put together a one-sheeter. But we put together a user guide for the event page, and if you go down, it shows you everything from submitting a new event to activating your account. It goes down and it kind of has some screenshots of what you need to do in order to like I said, submit an event.
Forget everything we just said. That right there is all we need.
Get us a file of that. Get it in a file.
That is perfect.
Yeah, you should be able to go out there and save this and download it. It's just right. If you go to businessmemberevents.org, click on the events help, and then there's the user guide. It should bring you to this Google Doc.
So what we need to do is, and maybe one of us needs to do this, or Brian, whatever we think, that we need to request that this right here be added to the Big Orange right up there. This needs to be in everybody's, I think.
Yep.
If not, we're going to all sit out here with our little printers and print out 58 copies of this. They want as much stuff like that in the manual before they send it to us. The goal is to get, 90% of what needs to go in there before they come to us to save printing costs and that kind of thing. We need to request that manual right there be in there.
Yep, and I can, as long as it hasn't been sent, I can get it in.
Awesome.
So,
yeah, that's what's needed right there.
Yep, and
Brian, you want to come to my state meeting and do this?
Yeah. What, sorry?
I said, you want to come to my state meeting in January and do this whole spiel? You can be a breakout session. There'll be good beverages.
Why not? I'll come help you out.
Hey.
Tyler, if you could just open up the YouTube page also, just to show them the web tutorials that you created. So if you know, it's easy. Sometimes it's nice to have a step-by-step to be able to read it, but if you know, we created these web tutorials to kind of highlight certain aspects of the system. This is primarily, you know, for someone who has just sent in their information. They want to sell tickets online, but they don't exactly understand kind of the different pieces of the system. They can go in to this web tutorial, and there's you know, four videos, and it walks through everything around ordering, everything around, you know, managing your chapter orders, everything, you know, and it's a full, you know, granted they're 6 to 8 minute clips, so it's not something that, you know, you're going to be able to do real quick. It's not a 30-second demo, but for, you know, if you want to walk yourself through the entire system and really get an understanding, these videos are available as well as just an extra resource.
Yeah, they basically go through the same kind of demo that I showed in the first part of our meeting.
These were sent out before, weren't they, Brian? I think these look familiar.
Yep, they were sent out, I don't know, about a month or two ago.
Yeah, okay. All right.
So,
Boy, I tell you, if you could integrate this where it talks to Omar, I think that's going to be your biggest uptake, because if they can get other people to do their Omar for them instead of the chapters, they're going to really love this, and we'll make money doing it too.
Yeah, that's definitely, you know, when it comes to the vision of like where we can really take this, that's the glaring, you know, number one. If we can get this to connect to Omer, where someone can go into their roster and, you know, either copy paste or directly upload, you know, save that spreadsheet, whether it's in an Excel file, export it into an Excel file, and then upload it right into Omer, that would be, you know, the cat's pajamas. But right now it's the next phase, you know.
Yep.
So.
Cool.
So, yeah, if we don't have any other questions, obviously feel free. If, you know, we get off the phone and 30 minutes down, you know, 30 minutes later or 2 weeks later or something comes up, shoot me a buzz. You know, send me an email, give me a call. I'm here more than willing to kind of, you know, reiterate something or, you know, go through something again or explain something in further detail. If, you know, you guys are out there and, you know, you're talking to a chapter, someone, you know, a chapter officer really wants to use it, they want to talk directly to myself or, you know, maybe even Tyler, you know, we're here as a resource. You know, we put this system together. We're completely here to try and make it work for you guys and your chapters. So don't be afraid to come to us with questions or ideas. You know, if there's certain ways, if you are talking to a couple of your chapter guys and they say, well, this isn't really working and here's why, you know, we want to hear about it. Not to say that it's going to be a quick fix or it's something that we can necessarily do, but, you know, it's something that we definitely want to be aware of and we'll take to heart and see, you know, to the best of our ability that we can, you know, make that accommodation or at least, you know, be aware of what's going on. So let me know what else I can do, you know, to help you guys. And yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I think it's definitely a valuable tool that I think a lot of your chapters can more than, you know, utilize. So yeah, I guess if you guys have any ideas on ways that we can kind of, you know, get this across to more of our chapters and get them using it, let me know. I'll definitely get this user guide, do what I can to get this user guide in that chapter manual. As long as it has not been sent, consider it done. And yeah, we'll go from there.
Cool. Hey, Brian, before you go,
Yeah, of course. All right.
Can you download that file for me and just send it out to the guys that were on the call? Could you do that for me, please? I don't know if I'm able to do that as quickly as you could.
Yes, sir. You got it. I'll have it out to you within the next 5 minutes.
Great, Brian. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Brian.
Any other
Arnold was
questions?
awesome.
Yeah, good stuff.
Really good stuff.
Appreciate it.
Yep. Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks. Appreciate taking the time, getting in on this call. And like I said, don't hesitate. Let me know what you guys need.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
All right,
man.
thanks, guys. You take care. Have a good rest of your day.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye. Sally, you still there? Sally, you still there?